Hi guys, in this video I'll show you the basics of rendering in SolidWorks. It's just going to be a quick start guide, but it will give you the tools you need to make decent quality renders. Renders are photorealistic images, so this is a render I did of a Tesla Model S that I made a couple years back. The render's on an outdoor urban environment setting. Here's another example of a render of a Bionic Arm. It's got some transparency in the center section so you can see the motors or the internal mechanics. And this is a render of a Darth Vader model or a more artistic piece. So it's not too difficult to create these, and it can make a big difference in your project. It's a good skill to have, so I'll show you how to do it. So jumping straight into SolidWorks, when you create a new part, you need to have Photo 360 added in. So Photo 360 comes standard with SolidWorks, but you want to go to Tools and then go down to the bottom and hit Add-ins, and then just check Photo View 360. So that will bring up a Render Tools ribbon. So from that, I'll just open up an example piece. So this car, for example, the first thing you actually want to do is add appearances. So this is white because I've already removed the appearances. Generally, when you model in SolidWorks, the part will be like a gray color, but this is similar. So because it's a car, I know that the body's going to be like a metal. If I go into metal, I can go to, I think, painted. Oh, there's actually a painted option for a car. Perfect. So I'll make it a red color. So I'll drag this gloss red appearance over. And it gives me the option to apply this to the whole body. Just that surface section. Or to the whole model, which is similar to the body in this case. So I'm just going to go with the surface section. And once I've applied that, what I can actually do is right click that appearance, and if I go to copy appearance, what it allows me to do is then right click a different section and do paste appearance. And again, I'll just paste it on the specific surfaces I want. So you do this with a model, just going through each section one by one. Now the wheels, for example, of course, are going to be a different material, so they would be like a rubber in this case. So I'll drag this rubber over onto one of the wheels, and I'll just select that surface face, and again do a similar thing, copy and paste it on the desired areas. So this car is going to have a bunch of different appearances, and just a quick note, when you do your final renders, some appearances may turn out like more desirable than others. So for example, I just applied a rubber-like material to the wheels, but it might just be that actually if I went and applied like a black plastic, that might turn out better in the render, but no need to worry about that now. So I actually just close this model and go to a more developed one. So this model here, I've applied all the appearances. So I use like some glass appearance for the windows, some metals, for some shiny metals for the wheel hubs. And in the top left, if I go to the appearances here, I can see all the appearances that I've applied. So if I wanted to change that red to say a blue color, that's no problem. I just right click and edit as shown here. It's just loading up. So yeah, I could change it to any color I want later on, but I'll just leave it as red for the time being. So another important thing is to add perspective to your model, because when you're modeling in SolidWorks by standard, you don't have perspective, which means things that are closer to your point of view aren't necessarily bigger. So if you just go to this computer monitor image and then turn on perspective, so I actually already just had perspective turned on there, but this is what it would look like without perspective, and this is what it would look like with perspective. So not a big difference there, but I'll show you a very important thing in just a second. One thing I do want to mention is with rendering you can actually add camera points, but that's more of an advanced topic, and it's not really necessary to get high quality renders. So just back to the perspective, if I go into the search command and I type in modify perspective view, that brings up this option, and essentially it's just a value of how intense the perspective is. So if I go down to 0.15, for example, that really changes the look of the car. So if I went to something extreme like 0.01, we can see we're looking at it almost as if we were like a tiny insect or something, or very, very close up to the vehicle. And it makes it look more realistic because obviously in real life we have a certain amount of perspective, and the correct amount depends on the model. So I played around with this and found that 0.15 looks pretty good for this car model. So the next step you want to do is change the scene. So if I go over to scenes on the right and expand that, there's basic scenes which I can go through. There's actually presentation scenes which work quite well for this particular model because there's some urban settings like here, and this is in SolidWorks 2018 by the way. It may vary slightly depending on what version you're running, but here, now that I've got this urban scene, it looks like Seattle or something, I can adjust the car position and try get it into a realistic position, maybe something like this. I know the car's going to be, you know, about the width of the road lane, so it can be a bit fiddly messing around with this, but just for the sake of being quick, I'm going to leave it at that. So another important point is to use this scene illumination proof sheet in the rendering ribbon. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that, and what it's going to do is it's going to give me a bunch of options where the lighting, intensity and positioning and whatnot has been changed automatically, because that actually contributes quite a lot to the quality of the render. So it can take a little while for that to load up. So here we go. It's showing me the original selection, and on the right and left side are versions where the brightness, the rendering brightness, background brightness or scene reflectivity has been changed. So I'm going to go ahead and play around with these, adjust the brightness and whatnot. And sometimes the model actually starts off in like a relatively decent lighting stage like this, but sometimes it can be a lot worse. So I really recommend using the scene illumination proof sheet before you start doing a render. So that looks alright. For now I'm just going to go OK. Now just before I do the render, I'm going to go into options, and you can select the output size of the image you want to save later on. Most of these you don't really have to change. One thing I would recommend is here where it says final render quality, I would go to best. It's got good, better, best or maximum, which just means the quality is better, but rendering is quite PC intensive, so it can take quite a long time if you put it on the high setting. So I would avoid maximum. Just in my experience, maximum takes like a really long time, and best is usually pretty good anyway. So I'll set it to best, and all that's left to do is hit this final render button. So that's going to open up the SolidWorks sort of rendering preview, and it's going to take a while, so I'm just going to pause it here and get back to you in a sec. So the render's almost finished. This one actually didn't take too long to complete, like maybe about a minute or so, and I've just got a fairly average laptop, but it can really depend on the model. So that's completed now. I can zoom in or out as shown here, and I can go to advanced image processing, and this is post-processing on the image. I tend to avoid this. It's not really necessary if you're just doing a kind of regular image render. To save it, you just click this save image on the bottom left. I have noticed that if you zoom in as much as you can and then save the image, for some reason it saves it as a slightly higher quality image. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but nevertheless I'll save it as a JPEG. You could also save it as a PNG if you wanted to remove the background, if you weren't using a background in the render. so now that render's complete and it's an image, and yeah, this is the final outcome. So it looks pretty decent. Like, obviously it's not super 100% realistic. A person would easily be able to tell that it's a computer generated image, but you know, it kind of looks like, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto or something to me. And if you were, you know, making a product or a prototype, or just wanted to see how something might look in real life, this is a really quick way to do it, especially if you're communicating with non-engineers. So I'll just show you a few more points worth noting with some other SolidWorks models. So this is a Bionic Arm I made at university a few years back. So this model, it's pretty cool model. I'm just going to change the transparency of these centerpieces. So here you can see the little motors that are used to drive the fingers, and if I wanted to create a render to capture that, so somebody can see the overall model and the little internal mechanics, I would just do exactly that, change the transparency and then begin that render. So here's an example of how that might turn out. It's not super clear, so this could still be improved, but yeah, it's a pretty decent start. And also one more point with views. So say I positioned my camera to a really close-up view, something like this, and I wanted to render here, but I wanted to maybe move around and modify something a bit more. I can actually save this view by hitting the spacebar, and then there will be an option for new view, and I'll just type in close-up of fingers, something like that. So I can close that. You could have also, instead of pressing the space bar, just gone to view orientation up here and hit new view, which is this little telescope thing. But anyway, the close-up of fingers view is saved there, so if we hit that, it just comes back. So if I move the orientation, hit the space bar, and then go to the close-up, it brings me straight back. So that's handy if you have multiple angles that you want to save for a render, but you also want to adjust the background and image brightness and whatnot in between them. So yeah, the last example I made was just of a Darth Vader helmet. So yeah, nothing too important to note here, but just playing around with the materials and the brightness and intensity can get different results. So that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, more videos. If this video goes well, I might do another video in the future of more advanced details about rendering. But to be honest, I don't think I'd do that in SolidWorks. I think I'd do it in Keyshot, which is a more powerful rendering tool. So thanks for watching and have a good day.